Okay, welcome to the another video. In this particular video, I'm going to show you how to configure Nginx Reverse Proxy configuration. Okay, so before moving forward to the topic, I will tell you what is a Nginx Reverse Proxy configuration. Okay, so for this, in order to understand, let's go ahead and let's use a little bit visuals here. Okay, so imagine this is the server right here, and this is the mobile of the user. Okay, so let's type mobile here, and this is the server. Okay, so in the server, if you remember, we have the Nginx setup. So this is the Nginx, and the green one is our website. So let's suppose website. Okay, so basically what is the Nginx reverse configuration is, when we start server of the website, it will start on some XYZ port on locally, like 127.0.0.1. I will show you with the example also, but first understand the diagram. Colon and port might be 8001, something like that, right? And now you want to move this website to the some domain name or port HTTPS or HTTP or some xyz.com. So basically, suppose this website is hosted on the xyz.com. So how this will happen? Suppose this mobile phone user will start sending requests for xyz.com. The request will reach to the Nginx, and Nginx, in the Nginx we need to do reverse proxy configuration so that incoming request will be forwarded to this particular IP address 127.0.0.1:8001, the local port, so that the website will be able to communicate with the outside of the internet. That's configuration called as a reverse proxy configuration on the Nginx. Okay, so let's move forward and let's do the practical right here. Okay, so first thing first you need to do is you should have the cloud account. Okay, if you don't have cloud account, please feel free to click on the link in the description where you will get $200 credit for DigitalOcean. And if you have cloud account, it doesn't matter which cloud account you are using, Vultr, AWS or DigitalOcean, Linode, whatever, follow the exact same process. So for me, I have already created this server, as you can see right here. And if you haven't created, you can go ahead and create this server. So once the server is created, let's copy the IP address from here and open the terminal. If you are on Windows, open the CMD. And we need to log in into this server. So let's do SSH root @IP. So and hit enter. It will ask for password. Once you enter the password, it will give you access to the server. So as you can see, I have access in the server. So first thing first, clear the screen. Next thing you need to do is you need to install some necessary packages. What is a necessary package? Hence we are doing to do reverse proxy using Nginx. We need to install Nginx. For me, Nginx is already installed on my system. How can I check? Nginx-h, and if I am getting the output, that means Nginx is installed. So in case if on your server Nginx is not installed, you can do apt install Nginx, and that will install the Nginx. Okay, so once installation is done, next thing we need to do is we need to do reverse proxy configuration. Okay, so in order to do reverse proxy configuration, first we need to start something locally which we can later use in the reverse proxy configuration. Okay, so let's do one thing for testing. Let's create a folder called mkdir test. So mkdir is command to create the folder. So let's do cd test, go to the test folder, and let's create some document called sample.txt. So let's touch tuch, and let's say sample.txt. So this is the sample document that we have created. If you do ls, you can see the sample document is still there. So next thing what we can do is there is a Python packages called HTTP server, which is very useful in order to create simple HTTP servers. Okay, so I am going to use that particular server, okay, in order to demonstrate how the reverse proxy configuration can be done. So what I'm going to do is python -yum the python 3-yum http.server. So if you do that, it will start temporary server on the. Okay, so there is some issue. So I spelled it wrong, HTTP. Okay, so once you're done, it is starting server on port 8000, right? So let's do one thing. Let's go to the browser, copy the IP address, open the IP address in the browser and do 8000 port right here. And as you can see, I am able to see the sample.txt file that I have created on this server in the same directory right here. Okay, so that means this service on the port 8000 is working fine. The next goal is we need to create reverse proxy configuration in order to forward this 8000 port to the port 80, so that the request coming from a port 80 will be again forwarded to the port 8000 locally. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's edit the Nginx configuration. So you have two options right now. You can either create a new Nginx configuration, or what you can do is you can use existing Nginx configuration, which is default configuration in the Nginx available. But in my case, I'm going to modify the existing default configuration. So you can follow exact same process, you can use exact same configuration, and that will work for you too. So let's go ahead and do nano/etc/nginx/site available /default. That's the default configuration. If you hit enter, as you can see, the configuration is right here. Port 80 is listening on the port 80, and the website URL right now is this one, because I told you that I use this server for doing my another test. So let's remove this all of the configuration so that we can use. So as you can see, I have removed the necessary details that I want to remove. So right now, if you check my configuration, it looks something like this: server, then port 80, then port listen on port 80 for default server, and there is a root available, then index whatever, and there is a server name. Okay, so in our case, we don't need this index also. We can remove this particular thing. We can remove the root also. And next thing we need to do is we need to set up the reverse proxy configuration, which is this. So right now the indentation is a little bit mess, so little bit let's add some spaces, and let's try to make it right. Okay, so right now, as you can see, it is showing the server name, which is default underscore means default. If someone is trying to access from the IP address, it will work from IP address. Someone trying to access from the domain name, it will work from domain name also. So in the proxy location, as you can see, it is showing the proxy pass HTTP backend server IP in backend server port. So we need to modify this. Okay, so we need to add our backend server and backend port. So in our case, 127.0.0.1, which is localhost colon port 8000, because if you remember, we fired server on 8000. Then do Control S for saving the configuration, Control X exiting from the configuration, right? So as you can see, this is how my complete configuration looks like. Okay, so basically the listening of the port 80, and then there is a reverse proxy configuration. This is the important part, the highlighted part. Okay, so let's exit from this and let's restart the Nginx service. So service Nginx restart, and done. Now I need to fire the simple HTTP server right here, and now I will open the browser. Okay, so if you remember, I use the command python 3-em http.server in order to fire a temporary HTTP server, so that I can demonstrate reverse proxy connection. So if I go to the browser, as you can see, I was accessing on the IP address and then port 8000. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to remove this port 8000, and I'm just going to use IP address. And if I hit enter, as you can see, it is working. It is still showing me the if I hit refresh, it is still showing me the sample.txt file. Okay, so if you want to make sure that if it is working, let's go ahead on the server and let's do Control C, and let's create another file called xxx, and then again fire the server, go back, and let's refresh the page, and as you can see, another file is there. Okay, that means our reverse proxy configuration is successful. And this is how, guys, you can configure Nginx reverse proxy for your website, domain, IP address, and whatever. And if you want to actually, right now, as you can see, we are using the IP address right here. Okay, so in order to access this website, but in your case, if you want to use the domain, simply what you can do is go ahead back here, open the Nginx configuration, and instead of this server name, I am passing in the place of the server name, as you can see right here, I am passing underscore. instead of the underscore you can type your domain name, like suppose xyz.com or something like that, and it will show the exact, it will work for exact same domain. And yeah, that's pretty much all. But make sure that when you change the configuration, you should restart Nginx service. The command for that is service Nginx restart, and once it is done, then you are ready to go. So yeah, that's all about this particular video, hosting the website using Nginx Reverse Proxy. This was a simple demo. If you want to check how to host exactly something on the website or let's say server using Nginx Reverse Proxy configuration, please check out my next video. In that video, I'm going to host Django website using Nginx Reverse Proxy configuration and Gunicon. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much all for this particular video. If you have any doubt, please make sure you are asking doubt in the comment below, or there is a website called FluxxSet.com that I have created. I will link in the description that website also. You can go to that website and ask me question there. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe button for my YouTube channel. And yeah, thanks for watching this one, and see you in the next.